Dude, have you ever had a deal that like died not because of the numbers, right? Or the seller backing out, but more of like a paperwork issue, like a clouded title?
Yeah. Wait, clouds like fluffy clouds? What do you?
No, just stopping you from closing. Ever had that happen?
Oh, cloud on title.
Yeah.
Oh, like now when we're doing curative stuff or back then as a wholesaler?
Back then.
Like all the time,
right? And that caused you to lose money and caused you to not close the deal.
Marketing dollars, everything, expecting a 30K pop and nothing.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be breaking down what a clouded title is, why it kills deals, right? Why you can lose money on them, also why or how you can actually solve those deals and make a lot of money. We'll be going over that. And so real quick, guys, my name is Philip. This is Rob, Curative Investor, right? We came through wholesaling, fixing and flipping, and we pivoted to curative investing last year full time, and we made $2 million in revenue.
Just 2,000, guys. Just 2,000.
We made our first $2 million in revenue doing this, and so we're gonna jump right into it, guys. So what is a clouded title?
What I think it means is that there's something in the title report, the title commitment, that the underwriter, these are these national title insurance companies that say like, we cannot give you an insurance policy because of this reason. And that reason can be anything from outstanding liens, judgments, that you don't have payoffs for, you have a break in the chain of title, you have a lawsuit, a list pendens currently on the property with the owner or previous owners, many different reasons.
Also unknown heirs as well.
Unknown heirs.
Unknown interested parties as well. That's connected to old relationships. So let's go ahead and break each of those clouded situations down in a very detailed level, right? Unknown heirs, man. This is probably one of the biggest things that we deal with every single day in curative investing, right? So how I see it and how you could see it too as well. But when a person dies, they deceased, and they were the current owners of the property, and probate wasn't done properly, the property is still in the deceased person's name, and so their heirs don't know that it's theirs. And there could be a lot of fighting involved, and if they go to try to sell it, then they can't sell it because, well, it belonged to their parents. And so that is one way to cloud title, because they haven't gone through the legal process of basically changing it into their name, which is the ownership. Number two would be basically old liens that were never released, like mechanic liens, HOA liens, tax liens, old mortgages, etc. You wanna kind of go into that, Rob, and kind of explain what those kind of mean?
I mean, you pretty much said it, but basically, I mean, there are instances where we have an unreleased mortgage, especially when things got really messed up in the recession in 08 and 09, a bunch of mortgage companies went out of business. And so then you have these like zombie mortgages attached to these properties where the debt was bought by like 2 or 3 parties. And then the person who ended up buying it at the end went out of business. So then like they've just been unreleased, sitting in the land records for 20 years. So that's an issue because that property still has that lien attached to it. The new lender needs to have everything that was done previously released and cleared in order to be able to say that, we can buy this without any fear that someone from the past is gonna come and make a claim on the property today. So that's one example,
That's one example, right? And then you have mechanic liens, you have HOA liens, right? They're just liens that kind of the same situation where a contractor did some work, especially for mechanic liens, did work on the property and it was never paid, or they just forgot to release the lien. There could be different situations like that. HOA liens, obviously, if it's an HOA, then you owe money to the HOA. They put a lien on your house. You don't pay it, they can foreclose on it. And if you do pay it, then it releases the lien. Or if you did pay it already, they might have forgotten to give you that lien release. So number 3, what we have here would be break in deed change. So basically title companies, correct me if I'm wrong here, Rob, they look back title underwriters look back 30 years of ownership to see if it's actually,
it can be more,
right? 30 to 50 years, right? See if there's any break in the title. Meaning if Robert sells a property to me, the title insurance company or title underwriter will look back from the previous owners of Robert to see if those chain of title, chain of deed ownership was passed correctly from one person down to the next person, down to the next person, and then down to me. If that is all clean, then there are no breaks. Then it's becomes a lot easier to close. But if there is a break, like I ended up saying earlier, where a owner passes away and they had children and they go those children try to go sell it, they can't because it's not a clear chain of ownership being passed to the heirs. So did I miss anything?
That's one, what does not passed correctly even mean?
Right, okay.
Because that opens up a host of different problems of how breaks in title can even happen.
Yeah, so kind of elaborate on like what I didn't elaborate on.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you go and buy a house on the MLS, 99% of the times, you're getting title insurance.
Right.
Right? There's typically a lender involved, and if Wells Fargo is giving you a loan, like I was saying before, Wells Fargo needs to make sure that no one's gonna come and make a claim from the past. So they get this insurance company to issue a title policy to make sure that if any claims come, that insurance company will step in and pay out any claims.
Right.
But that insurance company is not going to provide that insurance unless they can go back and see that the chain of title is clear. So what does that clear passing of title look like? Well, if you have title insurance that was issued at every moment of that chain, that mortgage or that insurer can then feel pretty confident that each step of the way was clear because insurance was provided, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's like the best case scenario.
Right.
Every single moment that it was passed off, the baton was handed off, there was insurance for each of those. But that doesn't happen all the time, especially when it was in the family and the mom gave it to the son gave it to the wife gave it to her cousin. In each of those instances, there was no title insurance. And then you have those, they call them instruments of conveyance. So like a quitclaim deed or a gift deed or a administrator's deed. I have an estate. None of these carry the aspect of having a mandatory title policy associated with them. There's no mandatory insurance that has to be given for quitclaim deeds.
Right.
So then when they see these kinds of instruments, it begs into question, like, why was that done? What can we guarantee clear title during that time when insurance wasn't provided? That's the beginning of how to look at where did those breaks of chain of title happen. I mean, then the obvious one is like, you just don't even have a deed that starts when the last person sold in 2010. You don't even have a deed for that at all. You just heard from your seller, the guy that you're buying it from, I bought it in 2010, but there's nothing recorded in the land records that dude actually bought it in 2010.
So that's a break in.
That's a break in the chain of title. Exactly.
Okay, cool. So thank you so much for going over that and having more depth to that.
You're welcome.
And then the next thing here is like unknown interest from old relationships. And what I kind of mean by that is like partnerships, divorce, like old business deals, things that have people have partial interest in. I think like you're probably best at explaining this better than I am, like as far as like divorces and old kind of
Are you saying I got divorced, bro?
No.
What are you trying to say? I was never even married.
I'm all like, I
would know more about divorces. What the hell are you talking about? No, it's unknown interest from old relationships. Bro, that sounds like some messed up ex that's trying to like cause a ruckus.
It is.
You would know more about that than me. I'm kidding. Maybe though.
Yeah, I probably would actually.
So I think what this is dealing with, I mean, unknown interest to me, what that means is kind of like the deal that we have in Houston, where there was this unreleased lien from this old defunct LLC.
Exactly.
So this LLC had supposedly foreclosed on this property, but there was never a deed out of that LLC to the new owner, right? And so even though there was this, it was like a trustee's order of sale from that company saying that they were going to foreclose, there was never any instrument like a deed coming out of that LLC to a new person, right? And so the fact that it's defunct, we have to track down like the heirs of the owner who worked at the company. And I mean, it's this whole thing that we had to investigate. But like, to me, that's an example. And then for divorces specifically, I don't know anything about this. But what I do know is that, what I do know is that when there's a divorce, there should be a divorce decree where the judge says the man gets this, the wife gets whether it's man and wife, you know what I mean? One partner gets this, love is love. And so that divorce decree stipulates exactly where that real property should go to.
Exactly.
But if there's no divorce decree and there's no deed conveying from the husband to the wife, then there's an unknown interest out there and you have to track down the exes to ensure that everything is conveyed properly.
Right. And that requires paperwork as well. And also you can look at this maybe in the county records as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the 4 main common clouds on titles that we kind of generally see. Am I missing anything else that
I mean, yeah, lawsuits, list pendences, those are pretty common. Memorandums of contract, where wholesalers, you know, they put sellers in their contract. The seller doesn't like how the wholesaler's doing business, or maybe they just locked them up too high.
Yeah.
The wholesaler locked them up too high. And so the seller walks away, but they never formally get a release. And so the wholesaler records a memorandum of contract to retain their interest in the property. And a lot of people abuse that.
Yeah, they do.
But I mean, that's another cloud on title.
All right, so why do these cloud on title kills deals? For me, you can't close. You gotta solve the issue. You gotta connect the pieces. You gotta find the missing heir. You gotta find the wholesaler to release their memorandum. You gotta find this defunct LLC to get all the paperwork ordered and aligned and signed and all that stuff. But like, and then maybe as a real estate investor, you don't have the tools or knowledge to go and do all these things. That is one perspective where I see can kill the deal. Do you see any other perspectives in your past experience as a wholesaler?
Other than the fact that the title company is not willing to track down the heirs and you don't even know where to begin to do that and fix the problem. Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time.
Exactly.
When we're wholesaling, I mean, we had so many deals that just blew apart because we didn't do our own title examination.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have the wherewithal to do it all.
Yeah,
exactly.
Didn't even know where to begin. So yeah, I mean, it kills deals.
And then so if you guys happen to have these kinds of deals and you want to JV with us, happy to help you guys out. So how do a Curative Investor fix these clouds on title?
Well, each solve is different from one to the next. And so rather than running away from these problems, we actually reverse engineer the problem and start looking for properties that have this underlying title issue. So we run towards them. Because these are the problems that we know how to solve. So how do we solve them? It depends on what the issue is, but I mean, we have in-house genealogists. We have our private investigator's license. So we're able to track down these people because we have the resources and the wherewithal to do so. I mean, it's not just genealogists, but we have researchers who know exactly how to look inside the land records to find these breaks in chain of title, to then put the dots together and realize, oh, this property most likely has tax delinquency because they have this issue in the chain of title and they can't sell it. And because they can't sell it, why would they start paying taxes for a property they can't sell? It doesn't make any sense. So we begin to make these inferences based on our examination of the title chain before we even pick up the phone. I mean, so that's how we solve it. We solve it by being able to track down the heirs, by knowing the legal process, using attorneys to solve it, or certain affidavits to fix the issue. What else, dude?
I think we also do a preliminary title search. Sometimes get the Schedule C and take a look at it and just see what the defects are, just so we are aware of what we're getting ourselves into from time to time.
I would say it's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, but like.
But that's like when we can't find a vesting deed. We can't, like, we're like, man, this is above our pay grade. But most of the time, I'd say like 95% of the time, we'll do our own title examination, abstraction, and then have a pretty clear picture on exactly how to cure the problem.
So like to sum it up, like we do a lot of the things depending on the situation of the deal. We do a lot of county record searches as far as the land records, tax assessor, probate, divorce, district clerk office, and kind of get a general idea of what's happening.
More importantly, like we reverse engineer what the title insurance company is going to do. Because if we can't get a clear to close from the title company because they're not going to issue that title policy, we're dead in the water. Like we would have spent all this money, done all this research, put all this time, but then we can't even monetize it. So we reverse engineer what they would end up finding anyway, but we find it first. And then we know how to cure that issue so that when we go finally record all of our documents in the land records, solve everything that we need to, and then when we open the title up, guess what? That Schedule C is clean as a whistle, baby. That is music to my ears. When I send that title commitment, it comes back and then we got the clear to close. Whew,
it's like a let's fucking go moment, you know?
That's just like, hallelujah.
So let's recap everything that we basically talked about here, right?
Cool.
So we went over how clouded titles kills deals, our experience on it, the common clouds that we end up finding through curative investing, and then we also broke down the solutions to those different clouded situations. And then, am I missing anything else?
I mean, that's a pretty solid recap.
Yeah,
I mean, the most common kinds of clouds that we find, and then generally speaking, how we fix these clouds for each different problem. There's a unique, use case and a solve for that.
Yeah. We'll break down more case studies as, you guys can learn from, and maybe if it's applicable to the case that you're working on right now or the file or the real estate you're doing. If you guys want to learn more about what we're doing, how we're doing it, the operations, we host free trainings. Make sure you click the link in the description below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope this provided value for you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.